Hi, Kevin Wright back again with a property finance tip. And what is it this week? 3 top tips for 21. What does that mean? Well, I'm going to give you 3 really good steers for what you should be looking to do in 2021. Sound interesting? Keep watching. So here we go. Tip 1 for 2021. Walk, don't run. So what do I mean by that? Listen, if you're going to make a career out of property, whether it's part-time or full-time, hey, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. I bought my first investment property way back in 1983 and hey, I'm still around. So it definitely is a marathon. Now, what's the point here? The point is that if you're going to be in property for the long game, you haven't got to shoot the lights out in year 1. So people progress quite naturally. You know, it's quite okay to start out on let's say a 2-bed terrace refurb, but most people don't carry on doing that year after year after year after year. They progress. So they do bigger and better each year as they go. So what else am I saying here? Well, you don't have to start your first project on a 16-bedroom HMO, for example. So going too big at the start just creates more problems. Lenders don't like people to too full on straight away. It's going to be much more difficult for you to finance big projects. So, hey, I want to do a 6-flat conversion project. Never done anything in property before, but let's crack off with that. That's where it gets difficult. So what I'm really saying here is start modest or relatively modest, get some experience under your belt, because you're probably going to make mistakes on the first couple of deals that you do. And you don't want to be making mistakes on a massive project because the mistakes are massive too. So get 1 or 2 relatively modest projects under your belt and then build from there. So that's tip 1. Walk, don't run. Tip 2, recycle your cash. Now this is a good tip pretty much any year you want to do it, but it's still as relevant in 2021. Now, unless you're Mr. or Mrs. Moneybags and you're got £500,000 or more in your bank account, this is probably going to be really important to you. Recycling your cash is the main thing that I've been teaching for the last 10 years. And what does it mean? It's essentially how to build a portfolio with 1 pot of cash. And that means you've got to exercise great discipline because you can only buy properties with the opportunity to add value. So you buy a property, you do something to it to add value to it, tangible improvements, which is normally a refurb. It doesn't have to be. It can be splitting the title, planning permission, or a conversion, but usually it's a refurb. Buy something with the ability to add value, do something to add that value, and then refinance to pull your cash out to do the next one again. Then refinance to pull your cash out and go again. Get really good at that and you can buy property after property after property and build in a portfolio with 1 pot of cash. So recycling your cash is a good tip for 2021, but it's probably going to be a good tip for 2022 and beyond that. Tip 3, pick the right strategy. Now I see a lot of people that define their strategy by the training course they went on. And there's nothing intrinsically wrong with that, as long as it fits your circumstances. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's say you've got a really full-on job and it doesn't leave you a lot of time, certainly not during the day and probably not during the evening as well. Well, you don't really want to be taking on something like serviced accommodation, which is about the most hands-on strategy you can do, unless you can scale up and outsource a lot of that. So align your strategy or strategies, if you're doing more than one, with what fits your personality, with your background, your cash, sometimes your experience too. Now, why is this important? Well, the way I like to position it is, are you swimming upstream or downstream? In other words, are you fighting against the current, fighting against the natural order of things and making life a lot more difficult for yourself, or are you going with the flow? Are you making things easier for yourself? So things tend to be easier if there's this natural alignment with the strategy and your background. This is something that I help a lot of investors to do. So there we are, 3 tips for this week, and I'll be back next week with another property finance tip. Hey, have you subscribed yet? Click the button and that dingy belly thing that pops up now, so you don't miss any videos, because hey, I'm putting out more than 1 video a week now, so you don't want to be missing any, do you? No, just before you go, hang around, because I've got something else I want to show you. If you enjoyed watching this video, did you know every Monday morning at 8:30 I do a live Facebook Q&A. So if you want to start the week with checking out some answers to your property finance questions, click the link here.